What's up guys, back with the weekly Q&A, and this week we have two questions, but the first one is going to be by Coffee Supporter 97699, and he asks, what would be a reliable indicator of strength level, amateur, national, regional, etc.? Well, thankfully, in the past I've gone over this slightly before on a video, arm wrestling strength standards, my lifts and comparison, but this was in response to a different video made by the arm wrestler Chris Drummond. If you haven't heard of him, he makes very educational, interesting video about arm wrestling, usually very based in a methodical manner. But yeah, if you haven't heard of him, link in the description below. Arm wrestling strength standards. Now, previously when I went over the strength standards proposed by Chris Drummond, I thought that as a whole it was pretty good. Right now, I don't think that all of the lifts are necessarily the best for testing your strength, but still I think it's good enough to go off of as a baseline, as something if you have no clue where you're at. I think that the numbers and the lifts that Chris had provided are more than adequate to answer most of your questions. If you can hit the numbers that Chris mentioned that you should be hitting for each respective level, you should be well on your way to, beating the guys who are supposedly on those levels as well. So check out the video by Chris, check out my old video, and hope that answers your question. And second question today is by Daniel Jim again today. Daniel has always been posting questions for us, and that's been very, very helpful. And Daniel is also an Eastside sponsored athlete who will be competing at IFA World Championships in the junior division. So keep an eye out for that. Daniel's question is, any tips on nutrition leading up to a competition? Now, Daniel, I'm so sorry. You're probably not gonna like the answer I'm about to give you, but nutrition, there is no acute answer for this. And what I mean by that is that nutrition, like strength training in general, is not something that you can change that will affect you a lot in the short term. Strength training, nutrition, it's something that you have to do over a long period of time, whether it's, gaining strength, gaining weight or losing weight, whatever. It's not something that you can do within a short period of time that's going to make very drastic changes. Nutrition at the competition itself is a little bit different. You want to have this thing on point, which is your carbs, your hydration. And hydration, that also includes your electrolytes like potassium and sodium. So get your bananas, get your salty foods, get your carbohydrates, because without those, you're gonna find yourself cramping up in the tournament, gonna find yourself not quite being able to access all of your strength. That's usually probably due to your electrolytes not being on point if everything else has been controlled for. Other than that, if you're asking about nutrition, talking about weight cutting, two different ways that you can go about this. One is just regular fat loss, just eating less calories, moving more, burning off fat. That's more of a long-term strategy. A short-term strategy would be something like water weight cut. That one's a little bit more risky. You risk damaging your body. Depending on how you do it, there are risks of heat injuries if you're going to do a sauna or something like that. So typically, we don't really recommend losing more than 1 to 2% of your entire body weight. Don't really recommend it unless you're under supervision of a professional. So yeah, hope that answers your question, Daniel. That is the Q&A for this week. Q&A post is out on Ko-fi and Patreon. Thank you to my sponsors, Mistel, Anonymous, Haoyao, HS Bro, AG, and Percy. And see you guys in the next video.